One of the hardest things we have to do as parents is letting our kids go. Dropping children off to college has been one of the most emotional experiences I've had as a parent. Everything comes rushing back, from the birth to bringing them home from the hospital to their first day of kindergarten to their first date to when they learned how to drive. I mean, all the great memories come rushing back, and then you get sad because you realize that they're going to leave your house and fly the nest. This video gives 5 things you can do as a parent when you're dropping your kids off to let them go and to maintain your sanity and your well-being. Check it out. Hi, I'm Lindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about dropping your child off at college and how you have all the feels, all the emotions, and it's a lot going on. So I wanted to give the top 5 things to do or consider as you are leaving your child on a college campus. It is not easy. It's really challenging, as a matter of fact. I just dropped my son off at Stanford University, which is all the way across the country from where we live. We live on the East Coast. And knowing that he's a 5.5-hour plane ride away made me sad and happy at the same time. But I knew it was the best thing for him. It's where he wanted to be. It's an amazing institution, and we're super excited and over the moon about it. But on the other hand, as parents, it's really hard to let your child go. Even though we've worked their whole lives to develop them into great global citizens, smart kids that are active and taking part in their passions, it's really kind of heartbreaking and hard to see them go and leave home. Just being real. So the top 5 things that I want to share with you guys to make the transition a little bit easier are: number 1, realize that this is what's supposed to happen. This is what we've worked so hard as parents, and especially as super parents, to do, to get our kids to the next level of their education, to send them off to college, hopefully the college that they wanted to go to, their first choice college. And in my instance, my son had dreamed of going to Stanford since he was in the 3rd grade. So for him to fulfill his dream and to get to go out to California and go to college is just a fantastic ideal situation, but it's still very, very hard. And to see him fly the coop, as they say, I have to let him go. I have to let him fly, because I gave him roots, I gave him wings, and now it's time for him to fly. So my number 1 tip is realize that this is what's supposed to happen. This is what we've worked for. We know that at some level, but let that just really resonate and sink in, so it helps with the sadness that you feel when they leave home. Number 2, allow them to have space. Allow them to solve their own problems. Allow them to figure out things on their own. Allow them to meet some challenges. Some of the kids never met challenges before. Everything's kind of been smooth sailing. And if you're like me, you probably did everything in your power to smooth the path for your child, whether that be advocating for them at school or just doing anything you can to make their lives easier so that they can be great students and excel and do all those things. Well, now is the time to allow them to do their own problem solving. I'm sure they won't starve, I'm sure they won't be homeless, and I'm sure they will register for classes. That's what I keep telling myself anyway. So that's number 2, allow them the space to problem solve. Number 3, don't over communicate with your kids. They need time and energy to put into the transition to learning their new campus, to making friends, to meeting and getting to know their roommates, meeting their professors, taking on the class loads of college courses. I mean, there's so much that they have to put energy into. Do not call, text constantly trying to figure out what's going on with them. Are they okay? How's life? How's this? They just give them the space that they need. So what I found to be effective is to set up weekly Zoom or FaceTime calls so you can look at them and make sure, look them in the eye, because you can look at your child and know if something's up or not. And just do it weekly. So my daughter, who's a senior in college, you know, she's fine. We don't necessarily have to touch base with her weekly because she's gone through all of these phases. My son, who is a freshman, we definitely want to talk to him every week. We set up the same time with him as a recurring meeting, and if something comes up with him, he can let us know. We can change it, but we just have that on the books so that we don't have to constantly text him, you know, email him, call him to try to figure out what's going on. We know we can save all of our concerns, all of our questions, all of our updates for when we meet with him on that Sunday. Number 4, as a parent who now may be an empty nester or may, you know, just have a child out of the house and have other kids that they're responsible for, sending your child to college causes a whole lot of feelings to surface, nostalgia, sadness, a lot of different feelings. So my advice is to find something to distract you. Find a hobby, find something to do. Me and my husband are doing 75 Hard, which you can Google that, but that's a program that a lot of people do. It requires a lot of different things of you during the day: exercising, drinking water, reading books. There's all kinds of things you have to do. So that kind of takes my mind away from, oh, I wonder what my son's doing. Oh, I wonder if he's okay. It kind of gives my mind a break from worrying. So I would encourage you to find something to do: knitting, sewing, exercising, whatever it is that can take your mind off of constantly worrying about your child who just went off to college. And last but not least is take a victory lap. You did it. You raised a whole adult. Well, they may not be a complete adult yet, but you raised a child from infancy to 18 years old to go off to college, which is what the goal was to begin with. So take a victory lap. Some of the things you could do is do a whole long bragging post on social media. That's always fun. You can go out to dinner, you can have a staycation, have a little mini vacation, whatever it is that you can use as a way to celebrate yourself, you and your spouse, or you or whomever had a major role in raising your child to this point. Definitely live it up and definitely celebrate. It's not that your child's not going to need you anymore or is not going to be in touch with you or anything like that, but this does represent a new level to your relationship that puts them more in the driver's seat. You're no longer in control, 100% control of what your child is doing on a day-to-day basis. So that takes some getting used to from a parent's perspective as well as from the child's perspective. So both need a way to focus on what's happening and to move forward. So those are my top 5 tips. Please like this video, share it with friends, other parents who may be going through the same thing. Definitely comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.